Hello and welcome to the Supreme Leadership Summit. I'm your host, Rachel Abba, and I am a Supreme spiritual guide and courage mentor. And I'm in the business of supporting highly intuitive people, highly intuitive women in particular, become bold and feel seen and liberated to step out into the world and create meaningful successes, plural, for themselves on their terms. And with me today, I have Evelyn Bailey. Welcome, Evelyn.
Hello, hello. Thank you so much. Woo, I
Okay.
have my own little applause hands here.
Going,
I can
you've got your soundtrack, yeah. Um,
high five.
so I'm going to I'm going to read Evelyn's bio. And so that way, and she'll also share a little bit about herself as well. So Evelyn was born in Toronto, Ontario, first generation Chilean Canadian with Jamaican descent. She immersed herself in classical fine arts early in life and felt deeply passionate about art and its way of communicating ideas. Growing up with the desire to create and master visual arts, Evelyn quickly recognized her talents and went on to earn a degree in the art of animation. So, what you know about Evelyn is that she's a mother of twin boys and a passionate, diverse entrepreneur. Yes, she is. She's a boss. Evelyn recently launched her digital art production company, Enlightened Art Inc., which helps bring ideas to life through graphic design and Disney style art. Through the use of technology, she's able to expand the boundaries of her mind to inspire, innovate, and create new possibilities. So, Evelyn, I mean, Supreme Leadership Summit, this woman, I mean, if only like you'll get to know her and see more of her, but we go way back. And I've been watching her trajectory. I've been watching, I mean, when you talk about someone who is alive and vibrant and always leveling up, I mean, like her picture would be like in the dictionary like this, right? Like she's like totally, totally there and, just engaged, and she's a contributor and community minded. She's building not only her life, but she builds other people up. And with this summit around clarity, courage, and confidence, there was no way that this was going to happen without her. And for those who do not know, like currently where we are, there's like something going through in terms of like storms and all kinds of apocalyptic stuff happening with the weather and snowstorms. And here she is, full-fledged, like we were just like chatting about just the journey of getting into this room and making this happen and being present. So here's what we know. Today, we're going to be doing this messy. You're going to be getting behind the scenes, what it's like to be a supreme leader and everything that goes into that. It's not all perfect and curated and beautiful. This journey is real. This journey, we get to give ourselves the grace to do this messy, and being true to ourselves and authentic, right? Vulnerable, transparent. These are all the words because sometimes, from the outside looking in, we don't always have the opportunity to know exactly how someone got from step A to step B to step C, and might think, oh, we don't have it in us. We don't, that's not our life. We don't have it all figured out. And what we're here to share, because literally our lives are parallel, is that you're going to get mirror images and hopefully you see yourself in us, that it's okay. Whatever step you're in, it's okay. Children in the background, things canceling where your plans are completely upended and you still get, she's like, it's like, we still get to step up. It's real. We're like in our fields right now, and it's like two moms, doing the best we can and, in the game. And we're saying yes to ourselves and yes to this journey and yes to the unknown, because we're betting on ourselves. So without further ado, Evelyn, take it away.
Yes. Wow. I could just sit here and listen to you all day. I think it's part of the reason why we originally connected. Hearing you speak, Rachel, has always been just, it literally feels like, you know, a whisper in my soul from like
Oh,
truth spirituality. Like I've always felt really connected to my spirituality when I'm around you. So
Oh,
thank you for that
beautiful.
amazing intro. I'm so grateful for this summit, for you, and for everything that you do and that we do together, as well as all the parallels that we were able to experience leading up to this moment. Messy and raw and challenging, and being courageous, being clear, and being confident even in the small decisions is a big deal. I know that yesterday I got the news right away. I decided to drop my kids off late, let them sleep in so I could finish some of my Disney style art that I mentioned.
Yes.
Doing some portraits of family members, capturing their soul as Disney characters. And along this process, I got really present. I got distracted just now because of my kids. It's like speaking so loud. So I'm like, what was I saying? But that is my reminder of what I'm saying. And when I dropped my kids off after waking them up with Flo, and I was happy that I went into the office to receive the news that school's going to be closed tomorrow. And I said, thank you, because you just
Every
changed my
parent's
entire day
dream, isn't it?
in a good way. You gave me such like this is a best heads up notice because I did everything I would have done in a storm today yesterday. So anything that
Beautiful.
has come today has been, with the burdens released, and now the
Yes.
human experience is real. Like now that's the real emotions between me and my kids and
Yes.
all of that. But it's definitely been a little bit of a challenge just being present, even hearing my kids. Like I need a self-soothing behavior just to keep myself from wanting
So if you
to
just see her
lose
like
control.
rocking,
If you see me rocking, if you see me like
cradling herself
floating
in
and
her arms.
it's just me trying to multitask and be okay with all of that. But nonetheless, yes, I'm an artist. I've been an artist my entire life. I truly decided to take on art. Even when I was challenged in high school, people would tell me like, "Why would you want to do that? You're never going to make money. You're never going to do this." And
The
and
naysayers.
if I number one, if I believed them, I would have quit. And if I believed, if I desired money first, then I would have quit because I would have gone for what I believed would have yielded me more financial gains. But taking the courage to stay true to myself as an artist has been, I think, my greatest challenge and the greatest journey that
Mm,
I've been on is sticking to the art and literally burning every other bridge to every other path, all the temptations to turn
yes.
left, turn right, to go here, go there, to see immediate satisfaction, to get into
Yes.
real estate, to do these things that I know would guarantee me a lot of stress, but as a lot of it would come with the rewards.
Yes.
None of it is worth it for me because I know why I'm here. I understand
Oh, wow. That's
why I've
powerful.
been placed on this earth. I'm very clear what my purpose is, and I'm more clear about what the power of art has in everyone's reality.
Yes.
Many, many, many people, and if you're one of those people that I'll speak to right now while my kids are silent, this is a perfect opportunity to say that many people have literally removed and taken away the identity of being an artist. Many people
Mm,
have decided that they are not an artist because they are not skillfully good enough to be an artist. And that decision is the biggest and first biggest lie that you could ever tell yourself, that you're not designed and made to create. We're
can you
creators.
imagine?
Can you
Yes.
imagine?
Like
We are
you are
creators.
created by a creator, but yet you're not creative.
Every part of our body is an instrument. Our hands create music
Yes.
or art, our eyes, our sound, our voice creates sounds. Every part of our body, our feet can move to the rhythm of music. Our bodies are designed to create art on multiple levels.
Yeah.
So when people say I'm not an artist, they are denying themselves the very thing that they're born to do, which is to create. Now,
Yes.
the biggest issue that most people have experienced is that they made a decision very young that they're not an artist, and therefore they told themselves, well, I'm not good, so I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to play music, I'm not going to pick up an
Yes.
instrument, I'm not going to doodle, I'm not going to paint, I'm not going to draw, I'm not going to sing, I'm not going to dance. And all these decisions that people make to stop themselves from creating is why it's so difficult to achieve anything else really in this world, because you've denied the one thing you're good at. So how can you acquire anything beyond yourself when you haven't mastered who we are? So in that, with that said, I say this because for the people who decided that they're not an artist or because they don't have the skill, why I'm here and why God has put me and why the spirit and everybody has said, Evelyn, like this is the lifetime that you come to break the belief
Yes.
that you have to even be good at art, because the truth is, beside body language, and I believe body language is very powerful in terms of communication because we have basic human behaviors that we can catch before words. I believe that art is the most powerful form of communication among humanity. Before language existed, which language is a combination of symbols to create sound, so you need art to have language.
Yes.
Before language existed, there was no division because we communicated visually. Language has truly divided the world, which is why I cannot understand Chinese. I cannot understand many languages.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm very divided from my fellow humans simply by language. We are divided from understanding each other, from communicating, from evolving, and all of the above. And what actually can be the number one factor that unites humanity is a simple drawing. See, we all understand that a sun is the sun. If I drew a circle with rays that stick out or rays that are whatever I drew, if I drew a
Yes.
sun, we all know it's a sun. We're not looking at how good the sun looks. We
Yes.
understand there is a sun. If
Yes.
you draw a tree, you may think it's broccoli, but either way, you see nature. We're very clear that we're looking at
It's
either
so
nature or
true.
broccoli. So it's not, but it's not like it's a word that could mean 10,000 things, right? It's
Yes.
actually
Yes. You're right.
simplifying what we could be meaning, and the more accurate you choose to draw, the more clear you'd like you to communicate. And therefore art should only ever be that desire to be good, to be able to communicate. That's the only purpose that I
Absolutely.
have taught people, that art is relevant in your life to share what your soul has to say. Never
Yes. Your
mind what
soul
your words have to
expression.
say.
So true.
Never mind what the words have to say. Never mind what your mind is trying to say. How about you? How about I give you a pencil? How about I give you a pen? How about I ask you to draw for me what's going on really inside your world based off how you drew it, how you approached the pencil, how you picked up the pencil,
Yeah.
how you
Everything.
breathed. Every part about that action tells me who you are. The act
Mm.
alone has communicated to me your fears, your joys, your concerns, and from one human to the other, I can see you. I can
Yes.
truly see you for who you are,
Oh,
beyond the masks, beyond the words, beyond the makeup, beyond the hairdo, beyond
beyond
the
the
civilization.
facade, beyond the, the perceptions that we have. And this is so beautiful because it's that common ground, and it's true. I mean, it goes back to is it what's the term? Is it memetics? Where like with some symbols and language and
Right.
meaning, and
Yes.
and there's a level where we all get the message, right? Aside from
Yes.
the meaning we've ascribed to words. And
100%.
across cultures, across geography, there's certain sounds that we hear, right? Frequency, that we know what it means. You don't have to speak the language to know what that means, right? You just
Right.
get it,
Right.
because you get the
Yeah.
vibes. And that's all part of being a creator, part of being, we're talking about creative expression, right? And so I love that, art is that, it can be that medium and that common bond that we share as a human family. And you're uniquely positioned because you've dedicated, I mean, you can hear and feel the passion, and this is, one of the many, 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 many things I love about Evelyn is that she um just lives like this is who she is. She's authentically and unapologetically a creator. You tag yourself as a content director and a creator. I mean, she's an artist, right?
Yes.
And just like when we talk about being a whole and complete being, she just you just glow and emanate creativity and color and beauty and connection. right? This is how I, this is how I experience you in this lifetime. And so, you said
Thank
you've
you.
known this from the beginning.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
And this is how you're showing up in spite of, all the naysayers who might not have caught your vision, who might not truly see who you are, right? And are coming from a place of fear. That worthiness conversation, because there are people out there who have different ways of, they might have been told that they cannot do something. So they've adopted the limiting beliefs of others around them. In some
Yes.
cases, our immediate family, society, for different reasons, whether it be gender, ethnicity. There's certain things you can't do because you have an accent. There's certain things you can't do because of the color of your skin. There's certain things you can't do because of your gender, your class, your educational level. For whatever reason, these limitations. And art, can be that bridge, can be that medium, right? In
Yes.
all
Yes.
its
Yes.
variety of expressions.
Yes. Yes. 100%.
Yeah. So speak to that in terms of the worthiness, how art can be that tool, that resource that people can connect with and perhaps even ignite within their soul, within themselves
Yes.
to step into, get that clarity piece, step
Yes.
into that courage, and maybe even experience that confidence where it's like, how does she get that
Yes.
swag? And it's like, well,
Yes.
as a
Yeah.
creator
Yeah.
being, yeah.
In all the years that I've been an artist, I'm 37 years old. So to some you're gonna say that's young, to some you're gonna say that's you look, older than you look. The reason why I say this is
She's a youngin. Again,
and
another
yes,
youngin. Yes.
I say my age because I committed to art over 20 years ago. And so I've been in the world and I've spoken to a lot of people and I know the point. I can pinpoint the year of your life, that of someone's life in which their fragile ego, they're new birthing, they're like we're in our adolescence in which everything is we're sensitive to everything we're told.
Yes.
And the moment we're told, someone looks at your art and they says, "What's that?" or any comment,
Oh,
any
is that
little
broccoli?
suggestion,
Like you were saying, and
is
you
that
knew it was
broccoli?
a
Is that
tree, and you're like,
did a
I'm not
tree?
supposed
And
to
that,
do this.
do you know
Yeah.
that something that simple can shut someone down from expressing in art? It's for when I laugh at it because, but it hurts me because there are people who shut it off at a
Yes.
very young age. And
Yes.
when we shut it off at a very young age, it's very difficult to tap into it because it's not a flexed muscle. Creativity
Yes.
is a flexed muscle. And all my life for my entire life, I've observed the world around me because I recreate it in animation. I have to see the world so that I can
You should
draw
see
those
her. You get to
details.
see her stuff. Like,
I get the
honestly.
yeah, the details in cartoons. I just did a 19-person family portrait of a cartoon family. And the reason why I say this at that point people decided it's not who they are. But with so I understand how to speak to that pain that people have
Mm,
around, well, I accept that I'm not an artist. I don't what does it mean to me?
it's
So
too late,
here's the
right? Like
value.
that. Yeah.
Here's exactly. Here's the value of how something as simple as doodling every day in a sketchbook and drawing circles on a full page. It just could be circles. You are activating the nerve, in your dexterities, your fingers,
Hmm.
you actually activate neural pathways to your brain that
Yes.
activate your creativity, that your creative imagination starts to now awaken when your fingers. That's why when we play piano and
Speak on it, Eva.
any instruments that we play, anything that requires an extreme amount of dexterity usage activates parts of our brain that are the creative mind.
Yes. And
That
also
is
helps with
why
focus and concentration.
exactly. And so when people are in a phase right now, every single one of us, if I was in a room of people, I'd ask everybody who here has to solve a problem almost every day. Literally every person would put their hand up. Now, here's the thing. Are you solving problem with your logical or creative mind? Because it's the creative mind that comes up with all the solutions, not
Out
the
of the box
logical.
thinking.
The
Out of the
logical
box.
mind identified the problem or identified you're hungry and it sends the signal. It's the creative brain that goes to the grocery store and picks the red peppers. It's the creative mind that is the one that's
Solution.
going to have the solution. So every day we're solving problems, and yet every day we might feel the pressure of we may feel like almost no options. We may feel stuck in our business, with our family, in our home, in our relationships, in every part of
Yes.
our life, we may get stuck on how to solve a problem. And I'm never the person to give you the answer, but what I can help is give you the practice that allows you to access multiple answers
Oh my goodness.
to the point where you have such an over creative imagination that is not uncontrolled, but a controlled imagination
Yes.
that comes up with so many solutions that you see it, you have hope, you just now got to get to one of those solutions. And then that doesn't work, that doesn't work. My kids, if something breaks, I look at it and I have multiple ways that I can fix it, knowing the library of items I have in my mind, in my house.
Yes.
What do I have? My brain is right away solving a problem, like a quiz in my brain. That's what art
Yes.
does. That's what the practice of any art, it wakes you up to a consciousness of ways of thinking in which your creativity is always at play. You want to solve a problem, man, that is a very difficult, challenging, stressful, out of this world problem.
It can be,
And
yeah.
not many people will have the answer. So you should probably not be reaching out to a lot of people asking them for the solution to a problem that they don't have the access to, because your creative imagination is the pathway to literally to infinite intelligence. You have access to
Absolutely.
infinite resources of ideas through the creative imagination. That is where geniuses exist. That's where geniuses play.
That's where they
That's
go.
why
Yeah.
that's why they go. They go, they have ideas, light bulb ideas. Where do you
Yeah.
think they come from? They come from the creative imagination. How do you access the creative imagination? You've got to do something creative. How do you want to
Yes.
be fit? You've got to get out there and run. You want to be flexible, you've got to do some stretching. You want to have a good cardiovascular system, you've got to go run. If you need creativity in your life, forget about being an artist. You're a creator, so accept that you were born here to create. Now, you may not be physically creating something like a home or building anything or drawing or creating a music, but every day you're creating something. You could be creating your life around you. And
Yes.
every day you're choosing, a decision is being made based off of your mind's capacity to access whatever ideas and solutions it has. So imagine if
Absolutely.
one decision was influenced by your mind's ability to create a solution, but you
Mm-hmm.
didn't exhaust your creative imagination to provide the access to the solution that is probably better than what you're leaning on right now, because it's a lack
Ah,
of activity.
love it.
So that's kind of why, like, me and art, like I used to run a program. I'm probably going to activate it again. It's a workshop and it's called Evolution. That's kind of where that symbol in the corner there
Yes.
looks. It's Eva, but it's a short form for a workshop that would evolve conscious minds. It's how do we evolve
Yes.
into real conscious beings.
Mm-hmm.
I'm over trying to be the best artist. I mean, my world is very complicated. It's very challenging. It's very competitive. There are so many amazing artists that every day I look, I'm like, I should be doing that. I should be doing that. I look around me and I get confused because there's so many talented people doing so well, and I have to stay in my lane and I have to understand my purpose. And I realized that I got over myself a long time ago. And when I got over myself, I started doing artwork like what you see behind. More free spirited artwork that is all about energy and
Beautiful.
people and community. I
Yes.
stopped trying to do
That's one of
perfect
my
horses.
favorites. Yeah.
I stopped trying to do things that were perfection in my industry. I stopped trying to compete about the best and try to do the best horses, because horses are the hardest things to draw. The best is because of that. I got over trying to draw faces because they're more. I literally got over myself and I said, how do
Yes.
I help people? And of somebody that I still hold very dearly, that said to me at the time, the way you can help people with the skill that you have and the visions that you have is to get over yourself. Get over the
Mm,
fact that you're better
that's
than everyone else.
powerful.
We all know that you are. But if you go and approach people with that attitude, no one's going to believe that they have it in themselves to be as good as you. So they're not even
Yes.
going to try, and they're going to tell you verbally, I can't do what you do. And that shuts
Yeah.
them down from believing that they can. So now I do art that is so easy that when people look, they're like, I can do that. And I look around and I said, yes, you can. And you
Yes.
probably should be, because your soul needs to access a part of
Yes.
it needs a mic. Give your soul
Yes.
the mic,
Oh, I
let
love
it
that.
lead,
Your soul
let it
needs a
lead,
mic.
let your soul have the mic. And when you create your, like I said, there's scientific proof that it activates the neurons in your brain to get
Yep.
creative. There's a spiritual effect that comes with you having the mic, your soul having the mic. And
Yes.
then there's a practical life skill that you have, which is to solve problems. When your kids come to you with problems, and your boss and your work and your clients, and
Yeah.
everybody is coming to you with problems. If you're in a business, you're solving problems. And so how are you going to access that unlimited resource of Pandora's box of solutions? Start getting
Yes.
creative. Get a pencil, get a highlighter, get a whiteboard, get a ruler,
Something.
get a chalk. This is the beauty about doodling, is you don't have to go get a sketchbook. You can literally turn to the back of your journal, take a corner and start to doodle.
Yes.
Start to get your mind waking up the creative imagination. You're
Yeah.
not looking at what you're doing as something that anyone's going to sell in a museum. So who cares about what it looks like? It's
It's
get
about the
over
process.
yourself.
It's a practice. Art as a
It's
practice, right?
art as a practice
And
of
lifestyle
a lifestyle
of
for the soul.
creative. Yes. And as you're sharing this, wasn't there an article in the paper just like, and I really avoid the paper. But this came up on my feed. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And I clicked on it. And as you're talking about this, Eva, it's exactly spot on. There was this kid who always got in trouble for doodling, right? He got in trouble at school, got in trouble. Like this was like his, but I think he was just a compulsion, and it was beyond him. Like I saw his little face. I'm like, oh, you couldn't help yourself, could you? Like it was, he just looked like I get. It was like, probably ruining his family home, and like on walls, and I could see as a parent I was projecting my own like thoughts on this article. And essentially what had happened was he was getting in so much trouble from like catching heat from his doodling. He actually got commissioned by a local business to do murals in there. So he got a gig. He got his first gig. What was he, like 7? Or like, some like young kid. And you saw him like standing proudly in front of his doodles, and his doodles like across, like I think it was, they used it as like a wallpaper, like in the
Yeah,
entire restaurant. Guess what? I'm looking at this, it's hitting the whole world, and I'm looking at his doodles. They were amazing.
yeah. You
Amazing.
know,
Like, don't we look
children
at the
are
Google Doodles, right? Like,
children have a way of, a lot of the times the workshop, I have to get people back to what it's like to draw when you were a
yes,
child,
that
when you didn't
childlike,
worry about what it is. You
yeah,
saw, you closed your eyes and you just put it on paper. And a lot of that's exactly what it is. And a lot of times, like I've I can sit there and someone could talk to me about all these theories, and I could sit there and pretend to understand what they are saying, and then regurgitate that to someone else and pretend to sound like I know what I'm saying. And then
yes.
everybody's just copying what each other's saying. But mentally, do you understand what that theory is? And when I took this one course called Think and Grow Rich, I remember being there, being like, okay, I'm going to be having, I really don't know the difference between the conscious and the subconscious mind. I really didn't understand it. I heard a lot about it. I was in the community. Everybody was talking
Yes.
about consciousness. And I would be like, yes, I would pretend. But I realized to myself, let me see if I can draw this theory out. Let me sketch this
Yes.
theory out. Let me
Storyboard
draw, let me
it.
storyboard it. And I started to be like, what is the subconscious mind?
Yes.
And then I realized, I'm like, oh my God, there's gatekeepers to this. There's the subconscious and the conscious and all these. And I started to create, like, it almost looked like Spartans and like military,
Yes.
and the
Yes.
kingdom, infinite intelligence was the king on the throne. And the conscious mind is has the red carpet to the
Oh my
king, which is
goodness.
the
I
infinite
love it. I
intelligence.
love it
I had
already.
to draw it. And that's when I was like, now I understand it. Because until
That's
this,
language.
I couldn't. And I, same thing when I took personal training, I fitness as an animator. I worked with a coach called Rosa Rago. She has now an amazing company, Rise Mind Body. And at the time, she would teach me all the stuff that I needed to know because I became a personal trainer. And she's like, do you understand? I go, yeah. And she's like, okay, draw it for me. And I'm like, oh shit. And that's when I would draw the anatomy. I'd be like, okay, the clavicle. And then I would get to
Yeah.
the shoulder and I would lose myself. I would forget how
Yes.
the bone looked. I
Yeah.
would forget where the ligament, and
You
then
were getting
I
in
would
your
get lost.
head, it
And then
sounds
when
like.
she looked at me, she goes, let me guess, you have weakness in your arms too, don't you? I go, yeah, my shoulders are my weakest part. She goes, isn't it funny that the one part that you don't know how to draw is the one part of your body that you're most disconnected to? And I said, yeah, because I can't visually see what I'm doing. I don't know how to work the muscle. And so she would expose what I understood based off seeing what I would draw. She said, draw
Yes.
it for me. And that's where
Yes.
all my gaps were clear. And that's how I learned to learn. I said, unless I can visually understand this concept and illustrate it in a drawing, I truly don't
Oh,
understand what I'm talking
this
about.
is so
I
powerful
don't
because that's
understand
your
it.
language. That is literally, that's
That's
your
my
soul
language.
language, right? And
Yeah.
the whole idea of how we're being in one area or what we're doing in one area is how we're being across all areas. There's no pigeonholing in our lives. If
Yeah.
we're whole and complete beings, and you believe that, I believe that we are, at least I believe that I am a whole and
Yes.
complete being, right? Can't put words in your mouth, can't speak for you.
No.
Right? So as whole and complete beings, if there is like you're having difficulty expressing in one area in terms of like weakness in your shoulders, it's not just going to show up, oh, weakness in my shoulders and my life is fine. It's going to be weakness in your shoulders and related in all other areas, weakness in
Yeah.
being able to express what shoulders are like in your artwork, anything to do with shoulders in terms of whether it be metaphorical, physical,
Oh yeah, on
spiritual,
an energetic
emotional,
level. Yeah.
energetic level, like what do shoulders do for us in terms of supports and
Yeah.
carrying. And you will
Yeah.
have like, so if you have a question around one area,
Really.
look at it how across all areas it shows up, right? And that's what I'm hearing you share as well. That's fine. We're doing, as we said, we preface this, we're doing this messy. This is life. This is the way it is. I see the wee one in the background, like those were, when you're like, on the news, like reporting, and then you see someone like, hi mom. Yeah, that guy. Um, and it's
And he's
all
got
good.
a sharp face. Okay, quickly show your face and then go. Quickly show your face.
He's
I'm
blending
really
into the background. So they, ah,
yeah.
shark face.
Okay.
Beautiful. Yeah. So that's
Awesome.
essentially, where we're at and what things are like for us. And I love that you shared that in your story too, Eva, that in terms of like, presenting this perfect face and of being able
He's
to do art in a particular way, right? Being able to draw the perfect horse, draw the perfect,
absolutely.
and it's not about that perfection. It's like getting over yourself,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Literally
Like,
getting yourself out of the way.
yeah.
And and literally that same message has come into our day
Yes.
and into this video. Like, this is
100%.
exactly what we mean. Like how you're being in one area, you can't run, you can't hide. Like,
No.
who are
No.
you? Like, who are you being, right? And this is exactly in your path. You're not
Yes.
veering away from this message of pulling back the veil and
Yes.
showing the world, because that's what, people are not going to hear your story and see you and see how we're being right now and go, I can't do that. Right. I'm a parent. I can't. Oh, that's okay. Her
Yes.
child just came into, okay, so she's doing it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it takes the excuses off the table.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful, and I'm so like, I so applaud you for again, this is what supreme leadership looks like. It's not just about bells and whistles and you know lipstick and
Perfect Zoom
rouge,
calls.
right? Of like everything like perfectly like, no, it's about we can do this, right? And we're doing this and we get to do this. Why? Because we're worthy, right? We're
Yes.
worthy, and it's not about perfection, it's about practice, right? We keep doing this and we keep staying in the step that we're in. And, art
Yeah.
as practice, art as lifestyle, art as language, art as expression.
100%.
And you can see like the dynamism in this woman here. Like
you.
this is how she lives. This is who she is authentically. And and this has
Thank
been my
you.
experience of you. So if you ever questioned or wondered whether or not art can heal, what better medicine than tapping into the true source of our essence, right?
Yes,
And the reflection of, who created us to be in this particular moment at this particular time,
100%. That's
right?
absolutely beautiful. And a big part of like why I just it hit me like I know why I'm on this call. And as an artist, we can leave a legacy behind through our artwork. Like literally, people can go to a museum and see your artwork and have your legacy. Or I can teach others how to express just like an artist so they can teach their children and children's children, and
Yes,
everyone can feel what I feel and be a
yes,
part of it. And not, I'm not here to just sell my art and be a, be sell what it is that I make. My legacy will likely still be in some type of physical art, but it's also to show others the gift that art has of the power that it has in our lives to evolve who we are. Just like what you said, health wise, it's very important for me
everything.
to visualize what it looks like to be alkalized body.
Yeah,
It's important for me to see acid in my body. I can close my
yes,
eyes and visualize the processes of what is going on, which is how I can visualize how to repair. I can visualize what it might actually need
again,
versus someone telling
solutions.
me to put things in my body. I can say,
Yeah,
well, I can see the acid. I can, if it's in my chest, I can see it in my, because I've studied the anatomy books. I've
yes,
drawn anatomy. It matters to me to understand my body on a
yes,
level that I can sit there and talk to a doctor, because I've in animation, we had to know every single bone on the body and then every single muscle that sits on top of those bones and in which way they insert. And then
yes,
over time, when I went to Body Worlds, which was a German scientist who had put wax in anatomy, like real muscles, to create something
yes.
called Body Worlds. When I went
Oh, I
there, I was
remember
able to
that was,
study.
yeah,
I was able. It was in Science Center and
yes, I was
in
going
the
to say, yeah,
Scarborough. It was many years ago. It was literally my opportunity to see how they all now sit within movements and then the ligaments. So I studied like a doctor the anatomy to the point where I can see it. And as an artist, I think it's really important to just really, as an artist, you're just more present to the world around you. You notice the
beautiful.
trees. You notice
Yes,
the birds, you notice the people, you notice details, because then later
yes,
on, if you go to manifest your own future, you can close your eyes and put those details of what you remember you loved into your vision of what you truly
yes,
desire. So the
yes,
universe can conspire for you. It can say, wow, she
absolutely.
didn't say she wants a lot. She said specifically what and what color and what shade, and
How, yes,
like
and the
how
feeling and knowing exactly how you feel within yourself, when you create that, when you have that, which brings the future like forward into the present, and you become like,
yes,
teleporting and all kinds of metaphysical amazingness.
yes,
I love all of this because, that is also, as I said, that can be the practice, the tangible thing that you take away of how to present yourself, how to visualize in detail, right? Because,
yes, yes,
it's about specificity, right? The more
yes,
specific you can get, the more likely you are, to create, the
yes,
life of your dreams, and what I say, become your dream. You are
yes,
that. So to
yes,
step into that power and know that you're worthy of it, truly, I could speak to you all
all day.
day long.
Yes,
So what I will say is, definitely this practice of art, whether it be doodling,
yes,
whether it be just, take whatever you have
yeah,
on hand, and don't limit yourself or judge yourself. Just do it. And, if you have a challenge that you're kind of struggling with, or you don't know what the next thing to do is, just sit down and
doodle, literally
just
just draw.
you
And
know,
sometimes people are like, I don't know what to doodle. I'm like, then there's
it'll come to
circles,
you. It'll come
circles,
to you. Like
squares, lines,
just
a
geometric.
combination
Yeah.
of like just
But
when people,
get your fingertips engaged, get yourself in
yeah,
there, as you know,
you just have to like literally activate those dexterities.
yeah,
And to kind of finish off on that point, so you mentioned access your powers and superpowers. We've all at some point when we were in elementary school drew ourselves as a superhero. I'm pretty sure many of us would
with a
draw
cape.
ourselves with a cape or with something. I remember I had was a thunderbolt girl.
Of
I had a
course.
red suit on with lightning bolt. I remember at the time I didn't know how to draw. I mean, we close our eyes, we imagine, we visualize. But I remember how detailed I was as a young girl with how I saw myself. We've got to get back to that as adults.
Oh,
We really need to remind ourselves how, you know, how to free your inner child.
this is
And I
about
know because to free
freedom.
your inner child,
No, this is a
it's
freedom piece
free
for sure,
yourself.
because
Have the courage, to
yeah,
free yourself through the art. Have the, and through that you'll gain clarity and you'll
yes,
gain
the clarity
confidence.
comes after
And
sometimes.
you'll gain confidence and clarity after you go to have the courage to
Yes,
start. So
yes,
this whole theme and this whole summit, if it's truly about supreme leadership, which is about having the courage and the clarity and the confidence, sometimes those things come with taking the first step. And
yes.
I mean, I'm speaking to that inner artist in every single one of you. And I'm not telling you to go get an instrument because that's hard. I'm not telling you to go dance because that's a little bit of work. But to take a pencil, a highlighter, a pen, your notebook, tablet, to take anything and just start doodling and just, imagine what that does for your kids. Because when kids say, when kids are not going to do something because if you tell a child I'm not doing that because I'm not good at that, you're telling them they have to be good at
Oh,
something to do it. So
yes.
just
Good
do
point,
just do
parents. Good
those
point.
things. Like my kids are going to see me do things I'm good at and I'm not good at because I'm going to
Yes,
try. But they're going to see that I tried and they're going to take that first step just beside me. If I don't even take the first step, they're not interested in taking a step and they're not even interested in thinking about taking a step.
it's so
So
true.
to
Giving
really
yourself
get,
permission
yes,
gives
give
others
yourself
permission
permission.
around you. Oh my goodness, that's
One, it's like
powerful.
when you're in a wedding and like or somebody and or you're in a dance when you were young and the first people would to get up dancing would slowly get everyone to come.
Yes.
Sometimes we just literally have to take the first step and to have that courage. We're a generation, we're visual humans. We are musical, which means 1 + 1 = 2, 2 + 2. So we understand
There's
rhythm.
a
That's how we
rhythm.
learn. So we're
Yes.
musical. We're visual, 100% visual. And if you're in an industry or in a world and a place in your life where you're not doing anything that taps into uh, your visual communications, how you're communicating visually, it's like when you're driving, you'll see a red sign. The red sign, it's to stop. You already know it says stop, but it's the red and the symbol. That is what we're looking for. We're looking
Yeah.
for the yield. We're looking for visual symbols. And so
Yes.
all day long, that's who we are. So when we reconnect back to that, you're not trying to reclaim yourself as being an artist, but heck, in the process, I'm telling you right now, I give you permission to be an artist. I say if you pick up a pencil
Go
and you
out
draw,
there. Yeah.
you are God's creation. You are born to create. And if you're not, then you're doing yourself a disservice and you're literally like suffocating your spirit, your soul's voice. It needs the mic. It needs to tell you what it desires, what it feels, where it's at. You know what I mean? When you draw, you can self-analyze yourself.
Absolutely.
When
Well,
you're
it's
doodling, you see.
definitely.
Sometimes I get off a phone call and I look at my page. I'm like, oh, I was like stressed because I have like scribbles and lines, and you can see the way my brain was operating.
Mhm.
I was in a
It's
state.
almost like a readout, right? Like
Yeah.
when you do like an echo
Yes.
test, and then you see the readout of like
Yes.
that's essentially what the
100%.
doodles tell you of your experience in that particular moment. But I love what you're saying, and this is about getting you to get curious and explore what's in it, what your discover what your unique expression is, right? And
Absolutely.
it doesn't have to look like anything out there. It doesn't have to look like everybody else's. You don't, you're not required to be perfect or be the best. You're required and invited to step out and be your
Yes.
ultimate you, and that
Yes.
is more than enough
Yes.
because you are worthy.
Yes.
Evelyn,
And you're invited to be a part of our world. Come be a part of the
yes.
artist world. It's the best. Like, you don't have to be on the outside
Community.
looking in. You could be in it. And it's,
Yes.
you
Take your
could be a part of
place.
it.
Take up
And we invite
space.
you.
Yes.
Take up
Take up
space in the art
space.
world. We honor you. So thank you so much, Rachel,
Absolutely.
for this call. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you. Well, you heard it right here. Evelyn Bailey, thank you so much for being an amazing, amazing mother, woman, artist, entrepreneur, and just visionary. So thank you for using art as a healing tool out in the world. We definitely require more of that. Thank you so much for being on the summit, everyone. Again, I'll see you in the next video. Until next time, bye for now.